Your washing machine is supposed to be the appliance that makes things clean. Every day, millions of people pull out a clean load and put it directly on their skin, with no idea what just happened in that drum 30 minutes earlier. That drum is one of the most contaminated objects in your home, not dirty like a trash can. Contaminated in a weirder, more specific way. And researchers who looked into this found something that connects directly to a skin condition millions of people deal with and blame on everything except the machine in their laundry room. A washing machine isn't really a cleaning device. It's a warm, wet, enclosed, dark chamber that runs the same cycle hundreds of times a year. So, what happens when you run the same warm, wet cycle thousands of times over a machine's lifespan? If you wanted to design the perfect breeding chamber for mold on purpose, you'd accidentally end up building a washing machine. Researchers at the Osaka City Institute of Public Health and Environmental Sciences tested 153 household washing machines. 152 were contaminated with mold spores. Basically, all of them. The worst case had over 4,000 mold spores in a single milliliter of water, about a fifth of a teaspoon. This study only happened because dermatologists kept noticing the same pattern. Patients with atopic dermatitis, the kind of chronic itchy rash that won't clear no matter what cream you try. In more than one case, a patient's dermatitis improved dramatically right after they bought a new washing machine. Not a new detergent, not a new lotion, a new machine. That's the moment this stops being a "your house is a little dirty" story. So, what's actually living in there? A 2023 study targeted the rubber door seal specifically, the part of a front loader you basically never clean because you can't even see inside the fold. Mold fungi made up over 80% of everything researchers isolated. Aspergillus was the most common, found in nearly 28% of samples, a genus linked to allergic reactions and skin problems, once it transfers onto something that sits against your body for hours. The seal is the worst offender for structural reasons. Limited airflow, moisture that never fully dries, porous rubber that gives mold something to grip instead of rinsing away. And that seal touches your laundry directly, every cycle. Researchers in Shanghai found the same thing from another angle, sequencing samples from 22 household machines. The contamination wasn't random. A national survey had already shown bacterial buildup inside washing machines increases over time, then plateaus after about 3 years, meaning the machine settles into a stable, permanent population. Your washing machine doesn't get a little dirty and stop. It builds an ecosystem. And what does that ecosystem produce? Something called biofilm. Biofilm is a sticky matrix bacteria and fungi build around themselves once they've colonized a surface. Think of it as armor. Once it forms, detergent and hot water struggle to remove it. One bacterium, Pseudomonas butida, was identified as the most resilient biofilm former found in washing machines, building a structure that survives the exact process designed to destroy it. So where does the skin actually come into this? Researchers studying atopic dermatitis patients examined inflamed skin under electron microscopy and found bacterial biofilm sitting directly on the surface, mostly Staphylococcus aureus. It wasn't just present. It produced an enzyme that breaks down LL37, a peptide your skin makes specifically to fight bacteria. The biofilm disables part of your skin's own defense while it's there. 2 separate research teams, one studying machines, one studying skin, landed on the same organism behaving the same way. So picture the chain. A machine builds a stable population of mold and biofilm-forming bacteria over months of use. That biofilm survives your wash cycle because surviving wash cycles is its entire evolutionary purpose. Some of it transfers onto fabric every load. That fabric sits against your skin for the next 12 hours. If your skin barrier is even slightly compromised already, that's the opening these organisms are built to exploit. But mold is only half the story. So what's the second mechanism running alongside it? The one people already half suspect but rarely act on? The detergent itself. Contact dermatitis shows up almost exactly where clothing fits tightest. Waistbands, bra bands, collars, underarms. Doctors call this the biggest diagnostic clue since it points straight to the fabric. It also explains why this worsens with exercise. Sweat reactivates dried chemical residue in the fabric. Your pores open to cool you down and absorb whatever was left behind instead. The usual suspects. Fragrance, one of the most common triggers for allergic skin reactions. Preservatives added to stop bacteria growing in the detergent bottle itself, and surfactants, which lift oil off fabric but can also strip the skin's natural protective layer if enough residue stays behind. To be fair, because this matters, rigorous clinical reviews push back on how big a role detergent plays alone. Some allergens aren't even detectable on clothing after a normal wash, and detergent-related contact dermatitis likely explains under 1% of the cases blamed on it. So, detergent isn't the villain every time. But if it explains so little and laundry-linked rashes are still this widespread, something else is filling the gap, and we already know what's living in the machine that produces it. It's rarely just one cause. Biofilm-forming bacteria and mold survive your wash cycle by design, transfer onto fabric, and sit against your skin for hours while leftover chemical residue irritates whatever skin barrier the mold has already weakened. Each makes the other's job easier. That's exactly why doctors in Osaka kept seeing the same pattern. Patients tried new soaps, new lotions, nothing worked, because nobody was looking at the one object that touches every piece of fabric in the house and has never actually cleaned itself. So what actually breaks the cycle? Hot water matters, since the mold strains identified in these studies die around 45 degrees Celsius, which most people never actually run. Clean the rubber seal by hand, regularly, since that fold is where moisture lingers longest. Leave the door open between loads so the drum can dry instead of sitting damp for days. And run an empty hot cycle periodically to disrupt biofilm before it reestablishes. None of this requires new detergent or expensive products. It requires treating the machine itself as something that needs cleaning, not just the clothes passing through it. So next time a shirt comes out of the dryer, smelling like clean air and nothing else, that's not proof it's clean. It just means whatever's living in that drum didn't smell strong enough to notice. The mold studies, the biofilm research, the dermatology cases all point at the same blind spot. We've spent decades treating the washing machine as incapable of being the problem because its whole job is solving problems. Turns out it's been quietly building its own.